Okie dokes. Ask Reddit thread. What superpower is ruined the most by world physics? Super strength. In Jessica Jones, she has super strength, but she gets hurt like anyone else. Although apparently she heals a bit faster. In other words, have fun fracturing multiple bones in your hand and arm when you throw the inhumanly powerful punch and hit a brick wall or something instead. That's a valid point. Usually people who have super strength also have like some kind of invulnerability. Jessica Jones does have increased durability, but you're generally right. Characters of super strength and no increased durability would essentially be worthless. Lifting up a car is a neat trick until your tendons snap and your forearms break. That's true. Well, if Cyclops really does shoot beams of pure force out of his eyes with as much power as seen in the movies / comics / cartoons, Newton's third law says he would also break his own neck. Aren't his eyes like portals to a dimension filled with energy or something? Yes, the punch dimension. Oh yeah. No idea. That would help explain the physics better though, aside from the dimension filled with energy part. You never know, it could be like his eyes are a portal opening to like a star that shoots that specific kind of energy. Like just in the middle of it, so every time he opens his eyes, since the star is always bursting with energy anyway, it's enough to shoot out the little laser. See, I was able to think up an explanation like instantly. I wonder if they, let's see, wow, that would also explain why mirrored sunglasses work for him. The energy gets shot right back into the dimension whence it came out. The way I understand it, though, they're not mirrored. They're ruby sunglasses, and they filter out red light from entering his eyes. Red light being the trigger for activating his power. This explains why his glasses don't fly the fuck off his face with the pressure from the massive amount of energy that would seemingly be exerted against him if they were simply mirrored. It also would explain why he is not blind. But red lens filters out everything except red light. Yeah, he and his second brother, Vulcan, and the guy in X-Men First Class, forgot his name, can channel energy via force beams from another dimension. Cyclops just has the misfortune of having the gates of that dimension in his eyes. And brain damage that keeps him from turning it off. Whenever an absorbing mutant, e.g. Rogue, absorbs his power, they are fully capable of just not shooting energy beams out of their eyes. But when Cyclops was a kid, his family was kidnapped out of their private plane midair by aliens, and his mom, trying to save her kids, gave Cyclops and Havoc the only parachute. Pour plenty much and pushed them out of the plane for an impromptu tandem jump. Cyclops landed on his head, now he can't close energy portals in his eyes. They were kidnapped by aliens midair? If I try telling people this origin story, they'll have me committed. Cyclops' eyes are portals to another dimension that he can't close because his family was on an airplane getting abducted by aliens and he was pushed out by his mom and landed on his head. Yeah, that'll go over well. Super strength. You pick up the heavy thing, but now the weight of the heavy thing is placed on the surface area of your palms. Your hands now either dent or go right through the heavy thing depending on how heavy the thing is. Or because you're standing, all that weight is put in your feet and you sink to the ground. Oh yeah, and forget about wearing shoes because they'll probably be destroyed in the process of carrying anything weighing several tons. They actually did a really good job in Spider-Man 2 of taking care of this with Doc Ock. Every time you see him pick up a car or lift something, at least one of his mechanical arms anchors to the ground so it doesn't break his back. It was a cool little attention to detail that I'm glad I took the time to include. What if you're like Luffy and you're made of rubber and you can just pump air into your bones and muscle to increase their mass and strength? I never watched any One Piece. Is that for real something that happens in the show? Yes, it's called Gear 3. I always thought Gear 3 was kind of weird. Like, he gets literally super strength when he pumps air into his bones and muscles because they make him like as big as giants. I was like, seriously, air? Well, One Piece is really weird. Yeah, see? Blowing air into his fist. Wait, what's Gear Second? Gear Second is super legit, though. I really like that one. Gear Second is where he's able to pump his body, his blood. Since everything in his body is made out of rubber, he just literally pumps his blood like a pump. You know, like you do a hand pump. He pumps his blood with like his feet and his arms to make it pump faster. And he's able to move faster because of it. He speeds up the blood flow in his body by working his veins like a pump. This allows him to get more oxygen and nutrients through his body, so he becomes much faster and more powerful. Not to mention he looks badass. See, that one, like, they both don't really make sense, but this one actually, it seems to make more sense than just pumping air into your bones. One thing to note is that both of the gears have their downsides. Gear Second's weakness weakens him a lot because it causes him to burn through way more energy than normal. When he uses Gear Third, he becomes very small for a short period of time after he's done with the technique. I'm not sure why, but my guess is that since he's made of rubber, the rubber has to shrink to handle stretching so much, but he becomes normal size after a while. Edit. Oh, and there's a Gear Fourth now, but I don't think anything about it because I haven't made it that far in the anime. I'm not even sure if Gear Fourth has been shown in the anime yet. Has it not been shown yet? I know what Gear 4 is too. Gear 4 just looks just as ridiculous as Gear 3. He inflates his muscle and uses armor hockey to make his limbs able to hit Logia users and fuck up everyone else. That's goofy looking as hell. Holy crap, guys, I get it. One Piece is goofy. It gets goofier, etc. You can all relax now. Yeah, One Piece is totally goofy. It's part of its charm, though. The writer initially chooses for his protagonist to have his power be stretching so that all of his fights had some element of comedy / goofiness to him. So it's completely by design, yeah. The guy who makes One Piece, he tries to make so many things just ridiculously goofy. So many serious things go down, but some of the characters are just ridiculous. The villains he's fighting against literally laughs in his face when he sees that. To be fair, Don Flamingo laughs at everything everyone does because he's so full of himself that he thinks that any attempt to defy him is a waste of effort on their part. Also, don't forget, he's just as fast in Gear 4 as he is in Gear 2, if not faster. Yeah, because he turns into a fucking jet hybrid with the megaton pistols for arms. Super speed. The light speed limit, air resistance, friction, all kind of spoil it. Yeah, bursting into flames would be a downer, or running into an insect, or stopping. The thing with Flash, the way they got around that was by literally giving him the speed force. They created a thing. It's like, because of the speed force, he's able to run at super speeds faster than light and all this stuff without it affecting anything because he can control, physics itself. Superman doesn't have this, though, and he has to, freeze the water whenever he flies across the ocean so it doesn't cause tidal waves. Something like that. But Flash doesn't have to worry about that. Being able to walk through walls. I mean, gravity would make you go through floors, too. Well, I guess you could just do a little hop when you want to get through a wall, so you land on the other side. On the other hand, once you go below ground level, you're kind of fucked. No way to get back up without partially materializing. Ooh, maybe not. Since you're frictionless, you zoom down toward the core of the Earth and back out the other side without any loss of energy. In effect, you would be orbiting the Earth. So you'd periodically pop up into places you could reasonably expect not to be occupied by ground, unless you were already below sea level. Then it would be pretty tricky, but presumably you left from somewhere that was at an altitude above the center of the Earth. So after enough orbits, you find yourself at the same spot again. This might take a very long time to get exactly right, though. Probably don't advise trying this while, for instance, in a submarine at the bottom of the ocean. But if you're a few hundred to a few thousand feet above sea level, you have plenty of places you could eventually pop out without too much trouble, assuming displacing air wasn't a problem. I feel like you'd suffocate during the journey through the center of the Earth. That would complicate matters, yes. I remember X-Men Evolution. That happened to Shadowcat when her powers first manifested. She was sleeping and woke up in her basement. Holy crap, this blew up. Most upvoted thing. One more second, she would have woken up underground, gasping for air. That would have sucked. And she attempts to use it to her advantage by pulling Juggernaut down into the floor in X3. But, he's a Juggernaut, bitch. I'd assume she learned how to control what she goes through. Speaking of physics defying, Juggernaut seems like the obvious choice. Stays in motion regardless of outside force, and he's not even technically a mutant. He's not? I thought Juggernaut was totally a mutant. I never really paid much attention to Juggernaut's story. Explain? He's got a ruby that lets him get power from a god, pretty much. That got Crytorak. Chooses how much power he gets depending on how Crytorak is feeling that day. Juggernaut can get obnoxiously powerful at times if Crytorak feels like it. I'm pretty sure he has base, though, as I'm pretty sure he's never powerless. What? I could have sworn he had. I might get a few details wrong here, but I believe his original origin story was when he was a child, his dad married Professor X's mom when her husband died to take control of her wealth. He grows jealous of Professor X being generally better than him at everything and being neglected and abused by his own father. He and the professor end up serving together in Korea, where he discovers some ancient gem and recited some ancient incantation, which turned him into the Juggernaut, made him nigh immortal, gave him super strength. And when he gets momentum behind him, he basically becomes unstoppable. The Hulk and Thor have managed to redirect him, but that's about it. They really dumbed him down for the live-action movies, made him more of a comic relief character than a serious threat, all on his own, which he most definitely is. I remember I used to play Juggernaut all the time, and I had this one superhero game for my PS1 that had like 10 superheroes on the roster, and Juggernaut was one of them. Juggernaut was the biggest character in that game. He was bigger than the Hulk. What if your power is literally only being able to walk through walls? Not all physical objects, just walls. What defines a wall? Ted Ed on YouTube actually did a series pretty much ruining the most common superpowers with physics. Here are the links. Flight, invisibility, super strength, super speed, immortality, body mass. Immortality would be fine to a degree, but like, what about when the star burns out and everyone dies and you guys haven't discovered space travel by then? You're pretty much screwed. These are all interesting, but the narration style makes them hard to watch. Let me preface this by saying that superpowers should be allowed some degree of magic so that the premise works. That said, the videos he posted are pretty unimaginative. Flight. We can say the power is drawn from the earth and is exerted on it, allowing relative total freedom of movement. From there, you just need a nice suit to deal with the climate and avoid rapid altitude change. I kind of want to watch it. Not all TED Talks are good, but some of them aren't half bad. If anyone's interested, there's a good book called The Physics of Superheroes, which basically talks about the physics of how superpowers work. Assume that every superpower gets one allowed rule break. Ooh. Super strength, like Superman lifting an entire train or skyscraper or whatever. Shit would just snap in half or crumble. Like this business. That shit ain't gonna hold. It would still be useful, sure, but if you can't pick up a skyscraper and throw it like a basketball, what's the point? Edit. A lot of people are bringing up tactile telekinesis, which is a good explanation, but as far as I'm concerned, adds to the list of reasons why Superman is totally lame. Superman can do everything. I think they let that happen in Hancock. Stopping the train engine suddenly destroyed the front half of the engine and pretty much derailed the entire train behind it. Same in the opening when he's stopping the robbers in the SUV. I always thought that Batman's true superpower is the ability to do more than humanly possible in a day. Like, the guy has time to run a billion-dollar company, socialize, chase gorgeous women, engineer, and build a ton of secret gadgetry, train extensively in various martial arts, analyze crime scenes, hunt supervillains, and still stay out all night watching for petty crooks to beat up. No fucking way one guy's doing all that in 24 hours. Not even if he never, ever slept. That's true. I have enough time just making videos and playing video games at the same time. In books and comics, it's said that he has a special meditation technique that gives him a full night's rest by meditating for 2 hours. Okay. Also, he has a nighttime rule. He doesn't go out as Batman before nightfall. So he could sleep during the day and play it off as the partying playboy. He doesn't really run net tech. Is that what it's called? Oh, Wayne Tech. Okay. I was just confused because it wasn't capitalized and I thought it was 3 words instead of just 2. He just has the best people hired. Lucius Fox builds the gadgets. He's already trained in those arts. He just has to upkeep his body. It's reasonable when you think about it. I guess that makes sense. The Hulk always confused me. Does the fecal matter in his intestines also grow? If they don't, wouldn't his new asshole be larger than his human-sized asshole, resorting to all tiny shit sliding out? I would have never thought of that. You're constantly afraid of your own tiny shits. Uranus prevents gas molecules from escaping. Bruce Banner had a habit of clenching his butthole whenever he was angry. And this is where the term butt hurt comes from. Well, in the movies, Hulk form automatically kicks in if Banner's in physical danger. Thor did a suicide attempt that way. So I imagine if he ate something too extreme for Banner to digest, he would get locked in Hulk form until it has digested enough. I don't think Hulk has ever eaten anything in movies, though. Too angry to be hungry. That's right. I vaguely remember Hulk saying something about how he shot himself in the face, but the green guy spit it out. Real chance OP is a writer for the Big Bang Theory looking for cheap Sheldon gags. This has BuzzFeed written all over it. Sheldon has a dream where he has superpowers, but starts pointing out the logical inconsistencies, which makes him wake up. He immediately regrets this and spends the rest of the episode trying to reinduce the dream to the annoyance of all. Reddit really hates Big Bang Theory. I actually really liked the show when I used to watch it. Sure, it's stupid humor, but humor is subjective, and I like stupid stuff. See, I always imagined that superpowers come with secondary powers that, on their own, wouldn't mean much, but also meant that they allowed the superpowers to function in the ideal manner. Like, for instance, super hearing would come with the ability to selectively tune in and out of what you want to hear, so you don't have to constantly be bombarded with minute in someone's dinner conversation from across town. Super speed, friction reducer, invulnerability, and awareness that allows you to still be cut open for life-saving surgery, but not get stabbed by a mugger in an alleyway. You know, stuff like that. True. Strictly speaking, the last one is not inherent. Lex almost kills Superman with a kryptonite bullet. Surgeons couldn't operate because of his impenetrable skin. But it was killing him. They had to make a kryptonite scalpel to be able to do the surgery. Same thing to get adamantium into Wolverine. He was constantly healing, as such they had to keep constantly drilling at high speeds to keep the path open to inject the molten metal. Yeah, Luke Cage can't turn off his impenetrable skin, but they can go through his eye and maybe mouth. He also can still receive internal damage. Luke Cage? Who's that? When Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe, he killed Luke Cage by slipping tiny bombs in his coffee. Who's Luke Cage? That sounds so familiar. Search Google for Luke Cage. I don't know who that is. Invisibility. Your eyes cannot function unless light is reflected off your cornea. In other words, if you're invisible, then you're also blind. Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, the best power you could possibly use with invisibility would rely you to actually be able to see. So that kind of sucks. Wait, what does this say? Your eyes can't function unless they receive focused light only from in front of the retinas. Now, given the invisibility requires light to skip through without interacting, if you had a small cone where this effect didn't happen between you and including the cornea and the retina, all you'd have would be two fairly small dark dots in the air visible from in front. If you assume that your eyelids would still invoke the invisibility effect, you'd have the option to close your eyes and enjoy darkness and be completely invisible. However, you're still going to make noise, smell, and other physical interaction with the world, meaning you're very much susceptible to detect an injury. It'd be a fun way to deal with invisibility as a power, though. Well, there was this guy in Hunter x Hunter. He was able to completely conceal his presence altogether when he went invisible. But he was a chameleon guy. I thought that was always really cool. He had to hold his breath, though, to do it, so he could only do it for like a minute or two at a time. The ability to stop time. If you stopped everything from moving, then the air would stop, and you couldn't move through it. So sure, you could stop time, but you wouldn't be able to move while time is stopped. Whoa. I feel a lot of superpowers take for granted that the air is something we have to displace when we move. Well, I'd settle for being able to slow down time. At the very least, you'd have the fastest reaction speed of any seemingly normal human. Would really come in handy in conversations. Would have plenty of time to form the perfect witty response every time. Alternatively, the power to be able to, at any point, take a timeout in your own little pocket dimension requires secondary powers. Immortality and time stop. What if you're a vampire? Then you get punched to death, so that happens. What? I think teleportation would be ruined by this as well. Sure, there is not a wall or something to teleport into, but there is air, which will also kill you. The novel Jumper handles this well. He doesn't disappear and reappear. He basically creates a wormhole and then steps through it. Handcuffs can disable him for that reason. I should have specified he needs to be cuffed to an immovable object. If he's cuffed to himself or something that can be moved easily, that all comes with him. Actually, this is how both Nightcrawler and Cloak both teleport. In Marvel, there's the Dark Force dimension, and it's more dense than ours. The teleporters actually move into another dimension, take a few steps, or not at all, and end up coming far away from where they started in our dimension. Oh, I thought they just teleported. Iron Man's arc reactor claims to put out 3 gigawatts of power. If so, the heat dissipation problems would be enormous. First of all, being situated right next to his heart, it would immediately cook the poor thing like a piece of well-done beef. Assuming that somehow that is not an issue, to prevent dramatic overheating and sudden melting of the suit machinery would require massive cooling fans that would make it quite cumbersome to fly with. Please someone draw Iron Man as a CPU cooler. Flight. You are going to be absolutely freezing. You're going to pass out from G-force. You will probably hit a bird / tree / building / plane and die. Slow flight avoids all of these problems and would still be incredibly useful. Yeah, this is exactly what I was thinking while he was trying to nitpick that. If you took your time and slowly trained your body to deal with the G-force, you'd eventually be able to fly at high speeds and not pass out, correct? To a degree, yeah. Spraying chocolate to milk from your nipples. It would really spray so much as dribble down your tits. Also, would it be able to make as much as you'd like? That's a superpower? Oh shit. Plus it would be hard to control, so your shirts might get milk stains. Spraying chocolate milk from your nipples. Oh my god. I pushed out a crotch goblin and can sit down to pump and get 7 ounces a day. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty funny. Alright, that's the end of this. Whew. Okay, so I should be doing Askreddit videos again. I wanted to start them back up like a week or 2 ago, but I just like forgot to do them. I started running in the morning again after I took like a month or 2 break. And I usually record these in the morning because it's starting to get hot and we don't have the AC fixed, and I have to record while I have my door closed because I have my sister's on maternity leave, so we have other people in the house. I'm not going to record with the door open, these videos at least, since I'm basically just going to be talking to myself for like 20 minutes. So I have to record these at either morning or at night because I can't do it in the middle of the day because it's too damn hot. Because I also have, like, the room I'm in is the most soundproof room from outside noises. It's also the least insulated, to the point where it gets ridiculously hot in the summer and really cold in the winters. I don't really mind the cold, though. I love the cold. But it only gets cold where I live for like a month or 2 at most, and that's past. So I really need to get the AC fixed so I can actually record during the day. Because I just leave my door open and the fan on 24/7. That way I have some kind of insulation. Now that I think about it, I could probably just open the window. But we live right across the street from a park. That'd have to be like no one at the park making noise. I am on the 2nd floor though, so it probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. You know, I think I just solved my own dilemma. I can just open the window. If I can't keep the door open, I can just open the window for some insulation. Anyways, yeah, that's why I haven't been doing these videos lately, because I've had other stuff going on. I just totally forgot about them. My Askreddit videos are like the easiest ones I can possibly make, and they're a lot of fun to read. It's not like I stopped reading Askreddit threads. I've read a whole bunch of them just to myself while not recording. because Askreddit threads are very addictive, and I love to read through them all the time.